Hey everybody, ronarray here, and after an all-new Ascendency has been revealed, I think Smith of Kitava is one of the most interesting ones, because it's providing a very unusual approach to the gameplay. So in this video, I want to break down everything which I can see in the Smith of Kitava Ascendancy for Warrior, and share my doubts, because I'm still not completely sure how good it's going to be. However, I can definitely say that it's going to be a very tanky character with a very good league starter potential, because you can get a lot of cool bonuses without relying on your items. Let's go! When we are talking about Smith of Kitava, the most important and controversial part even is Smith Masterwork. It gives you can only use a normal body armor. And this passive skill is free to allocate, so you're allocating Smith Masterwork, and after that you can pick points, creating your unique body armor with different bonuses. Generally, it's looking pretty promising, but there are a few concerns that I want to address. First off, I think it's going to stack pretty well with the rest of the character kit, because you will be able to get different bonuses such as maximum fire resistance, for example, which is going to stack very well with the rest. However, you are losing your body armor. You will be able to run body armor which is white, you still will be able to add runes with sockets, and you can also corrupt it to receive a movement speed, for example. So corrupting a lot of white body armors is definitely going to be the way, because normal corrupted body armor is still counts. So talking about corrupting options, we will also be able to receive 3% to maximum fire resistance, raising our whole maximum resistances for everything. We can also get spirit if we need it, and we can also get additional maximum life. So I think you will be able to just change different corrupted normal body armors, depending on the situation your character currently in. Talking about the bonuses, I think the best one out of them is body armor grants you +5 to maximum fire resistance, which is pretty nice. However, we will need to keep in mind that you can get maximum fire resistances in a lot of places. One of them has been jewels, for example. So spending a point just for maximum fire resistance could be questionable in that situation. You can also get 25% of physical damage from hits taken as fire, which is in my opinion very strong. Physical damage is not a big issue in PoE 2, but there's not a lot of ways to lower it, especially considering that armor is not really strong in the game. You can also get body armor grants 15% increased maximum life, which is pretty cool in my opinion. And it's literally on par with Titan approach, but here you will need to spend only 1 point for it. On top of it, you can also get a very cool bonus, such as body armor grants regenerate 5% of life per second. And 5% of life, which is going to be just calculated based on your overall life, is a very strong bonus, because it's going to provide you big and stable regeneration. The rest, unfortunately, are not that amazing. You can have like 75% to cold resistance, fire resistance, and lightning resistance. I think fire here is pretty nice because it's stacking pretty good with the rest of the kit. And I think it's going to be very nice on the league start too, but we are going to get to that later. You can also get body armor grants 20% increased strength. It will be pretty strong if you're going to play some kind of physical skill, which will probably benefit from it. You can also get body armor grants unaffected by ignite, which in my opinion is not necessary and pretty weak. 100% increased stun threshold, which is fine, but I don't think it will be picked that often. And body armor grants armor also applies to chaos damage taken from hits. That one could be good, considering that you will be able to run body armor with an armor. But armor is not really strong in the game right now, and we will need to test dedication of Kitava, especially considering that GGG is trying to change how defenses are working. So if armor is going to get buffed in the patch notes, dedication of Kitava could be a pretty nice option. And the last part here is Infernal Layer. Is body armor grant hits against you have 50% reduced critical damage bonus. I think that one is nice too and can lead to a pretty tanky character. So if you are going to spend 4 points, I think getting +5 to maximum fire resistance, together with 25% of physical damage from hits taken as fire, is probably going to be mandatory. The rest, you're probably aiming for 15% increase maximum life, and the last one could be changed. I think generally going for fire resistance early in the game, or for reduced critical damage bonus later in the game, could be a very good option. However, right now, just talking about Smith Masterwork, it still looks kinda questionable for me in the proper endgame on a high budget, because you're losing a lot of potential body armor bonuses, mostly from uniques. So for example, if you're going to play any kind of elemental skill, you can use a new body armor Coming Calamity, because it's going to provide you a huge DPS bonus. Or you can use Temporalis to move faster. You can also go for Warrior Invictus, because Warrior Invictus right now can provide a very big set of different bonuses, and it's a very strong option too. That making Smith Masterwork an absolutely amazing node for the start, but not that great in the endgame, when you will be able to just use different unique armors. However, we will need to wait for the patch notes to see if any of those unique body armors are going to get nerfed. And talking about the rest of the Smith of Kitava, we have a Cold Stoker here. It gives modifiers to fire resistance, also grant cold and lightning resistance at 50% of their value. It's stacking pretty good with 75% to fire resistance that your Smith Masterwork body armor can provide. And the last part of that chain is Forged in Flame. It modifiers to maximum fire resistance, also grant maximum cold and lightning resistance. I think that node by itself is one of the strongest nodes that we've seen in the Ascendancy, and that's one of the biggest reasons to even play Smith. So it doesn't matter if you will go for Smith Masterwork and normal body armor, or you will just not take it. Forged in Flame is just an amazing passive anyway, because you will be able to boost your maximum resistances with jewels, for example. Even if you will not pick Flowing Metal from Smith Masterwork. So I think just Forged in Flame will make Smith of Kitava a very tanky character, and you will be able to face tank most of the stuff in the game, especially if Energy Shield is going to get heavily nerfed in the patch notes. On top of it, you also have a Living Weapon, which grants skill Manifest Weapon. So that's a pretty decent option for minion builds. However, right now, it's very hard to predict how well Manifest Weapon is going to perform. I'm honestly not expecting a lot, and will not be surprised if Manifest Weapon will not be good, especially compared to other options for minions such as Spectres, for example. We also have again the Anvil, which grants Temper Weapon, and it can get different bonuses for your weapon, which we still don't have on a full list. It could be strong, it could be weak, and that depends, but I believe that Temper Weapon has much more potential than Manifest Weapon, for example, just based on previous GGG record. And the last part that we have here is Heat of the Forge. It grants skill Fire Spell on hit. I think that's looking pretty fun and could be used in some particular cases. The best case right here would be to just play it together with Mjolnir, new unique which will give you an option to use Lightning Skill on hit, exactly as we did in PoE 1. However, the biggest issue with spells on hit that we will need to get some particular bonuses for them, otherwise just casting those spells could be better in some particular situations. So stacking Mjolnir together with Heat of the Forge and using both fire and lightning spell on hit at the same time could be good. The biggest issue for that combination is that it will be kinda hard to get high attack speed, because most of the time when you're hitting stuff with your Mjolnir, you will need to use skills that dedicated for maces, and most of them are pretty slow. However, when you're using fire spell on hit and lightning spell on hit, you will need to try to hit fast. So I think the best idea right here would be to use something like Molten Blast to maximize amount of hits that you can do. And we still don't know if you will be able to create and just cast on hit half mage out of Smith of Kitava. So currently, I want to touch the idea why the Smith is a very good league starter option. It's mostly because you don't really need to rely on the item, and initially you can just take a normal body armor, you can corrupt it pretty fast, and you can get a lot of very cool bonuses such as 15% of increased maximum life or stable regeneration early in the game, which sounds absolutely amazing. But later on, I'm absolutely sure it's going to lose some value, and it will be harder to utilize, even as Forged Flame is still going to carry that Ascendency. I also think that if Forged Flame is going to be absolute must, so you will need to spend at least 4 points reaching it. The last 4 points could differ, so if you will be able to use Mjolnir and go for Hit of the Forge, you will take Hit of the Forge together with Forged Flame, and since you have only 2 points left, I don't think there is a big point to go for Smith Masterwork. However, you don't have any other option because Manifest Weapon is not looking good, and Temper Weapon is probably not going to give you a lot of benefits if you're going to play spells on hit build. So the last 2 points is probably going to be a big issue. However, if you're not picking Hit of the Forge, picking Smith Masterwork looks pretty naturally. And it will probably create attention because in some particular cases, maybe it will be better to just play Titan and use unique body armor such as Warrior, Temporalis, or even Coming Calamity, as I already mentioned. So we will definitely need to wait for patch notes to see how well Smith is going to perform. But I'm absolutely sure that just Forged in Flame is going to carry that Ascendancy and make it a pretty strong and very tanky character, especially for League Start. Thank you very much for watching, and tell me in comments if you have cool ideas for builds, especially with the Mjolnir. It would be nice to see some. And see you next time. ronarray out.